Hello, everybody. This is Dalton with the Honest Providers Podcast. Today, we're meeting with our friend here, Wade Muhlhauser, with Plugged In Recovery. He is the founder of this organization out in Arizona, as well as some other cool things. So, Wade, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Dalton. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Really quick, if you got a second, why don't you tell us about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm born and raised in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Very middle-class, midtown kid, and had battled my own disease of addiction with pills and turned to fentanyl, and wasn't a drug under the sun that I did not do or try. And after countless times in treatment, sober living, homelessness, building it all up, dropping it all down, I knew that I wanted to do something different in this space, and that's how I got into Plugged In Recovery.
Absolutely. So, this podcast, the whole purpose of the Honest Providers Podcast is a chance for providers and myself to be able to have an open discussion about what does it mean to be an honest provider, to provide ethical care, and what are some of the best practices around that we see that we're able to do versus what other people may be doing out there in the industry. So what would you say inspired you to start on this journey, right? Obviously, you went down that road. What inspired you to actually start Plugged In Recovery?
Yeah, it was my own experience with treatment. I had been battling, like I said, at the time it had moved from Oxycontin to heroin, and I knew I needed help. I had tried everything that I could possibly do to stop on my own, and it just wasn't happening. So one day I had gotten desperate enough where I wanted to change. I went online and researched, get help or get treatment for addiction, and up came a number, and I called that number, and I was about 2 months away from getting married, and I was engaged and going through that whole process, and I was like, look, I really need help. And the person on the other line, they just said, hey, send over your insurance ID. What's your date of birth? Okay, based on your information, you can go here, here, here. And it was like Texas, Florida, it was like Tennessee or somewhere like that, right? And I was like, no, you don't understand. Like, I'm about to get married. Like, I'm not going to fly around the nation to go to treatment right now. And they were just kind of really forceful with like, well, you should go here, here, here. And it was a bad experience, and because of that bad experience, like, I didn't get help that day. And then fast forward 3 weeks, and my life blows up, and I'm on a plane to Arizona, mind you, to get treatment. And the only reason I went to Arizona is because it was a place that my cousin had gone to, and everything had just blown up at home. And I'm in treatment and on phone time, and now I'm not geolocated or targeted in any way, shape, or form in this treatment center. And I'm like looking up treatment, and I find that there was a treatment center I could have went to it was like 8 miles away from my house in Minnesota. And it was just this like gut-wrenching feeling of remembering that phone call, that when I reached out for help, this person didn't ask me what it is I struggle with, if I was getting married, what was going on in my life, nothing like that. Really, all they cared about was like what my insurance was, and then they were trying to...
Where's the paycheck coming from?
Yeah, and then it was like, where can we fly this guy out to get treatment that felt like I was going to pay them the most amount of money, not what was actually going to help me. And the idea was formulated in that moment of like, how do I help as someone else not have this experience ever again? And that's where the idea of Plugged In Recovery was born. It was in that struggle of then creating a Facebook page, and I was going to create this organization that essentially like helped, almost like you're doing, like, how do you verify treatment centers doing what they say they're actually doing, and then match people up with those facilities. And what started as like that idea turned into me building this company that kind of took a life of its own in a different direction.
Definitely. Yep. That kind of answers into my next question I was going to ask is, what made you want to do things differently? And simply, I mean, you nailed it on the head right there by saying not what you went through, but, how you saw things and how it feels to just be a paycheck. I see that a lot in the industry today. That's, unfortunately, money is one of the key factors that is considered when people are seeking treatment. And is your insurance accepted? You do things differently. So how would you say that, giving your past experiences, how do you do things differently nowadays? Like, what makes your organization and philosophy unique?
Yeah, so I would say, the biggest difference between us and other people that you may go to, and it's not that there isn't a lot of places that are doing it right out there now. I think there truly is. There's been a big change in our industry. But what we do differently is our process. So when you get that phone call and you reach out and say, hey, I would like to come to you guys for help, the first question you hear from us is not going to be ever what your insurance is, what's your date of birth, whatnot, right? Like, we ask you about who you are as an individual. We want to make sure first that you're a fit for us and that you're someone that we can help. And if not, and we can't help you, we're gonna send you somewhere else. We're gonna say, oh, there's a great mental health place here, or whatever it is based on your situation. And then we're going to tell you about who we are as an organization and what we believe in, what our process is on getting help, modalities we offer, the therapy options we have, the 12-step related things, all of those different aspects of who we are as a company. So you get also a feel for who we are on that first phone call. And then if that says go and it sounds like a good match for both sides, then we'll take like insurance information. We'll figure out if, there's any patient responsibility that's due or anything like that, because that is stuff nowadays that, you want to have those conversations up front so people know later on they're not getting hit with some big bill in the mail and what that may look like. And there's options where we get to there and we can't help you. And I make sure, based on what we now know about you, that we're going to find you help for treatment. Like, we will help you get placed and we will see that through. So it's not just this, hey, sorry, we can't help, like maybe go to the next number down the list. But we do that. If you say go and insurance works out or cash pay works out or whatever that looks like, now you're going to get a call from a different person who's our client care coordinator, and they're going to, get a big smiley face on the phone, right? She's our little ladybug, name's Lexi. And we're gonna, open up that phone call with like, who's the family members that you mentioned, what are some things that you like, because we want to make sure that it's just a really personalized, tailored experience to, is there certain chocolate you like, is there a soda that would make you feel more at home, whatever it is. And then we make sure we're arranging things like airplanes, transports, and all that stuff. Not something that we're ever going to pay for when it comes to like plane tickets. That's another big scam you see people do, but we'll help you arrange it that it's like, hey, you're going to get in at this time, you're going to see this face, you're going to get welcomed with a big smile at the door, and we're going to hold your hand through the entire treatment process.
Definitely. Yeah, no, that's amazing. It really explains how you're not only just creating impact, but helping people in a transparent and honest way versus, again, like I said, just getting insurance and doing what's best for you. Your goal is to find out if you can serve them. Right. And if you can't serve them, then how to connect them with someone who will be able to serve them by putting the patient first. So I love to hear that, because nowadays it isn't every day that you do hear that. Right. And a lot of people, even though they may not be, for example, money centric, they still may not know how to articulate what you just said. So simply, again, just prioritizing that in your mission and your organization says a lot about what y'all are doing at Plugged In Recovery. So with that said, you see the behavioral health industry as a whole, you see it, you live it day in and day out. What do you think it would really take to create change in this industry to help it improve in a major way?
I think the biggest thing that you can do is see more advocacy between owners and operators. And with that said, I think it's, the good guys really teaming up together, because that's something we believe in is to be a partner of ours. We have to know who you are as a company. We're going to send someone out there. We're going to see your type of facility, and then we'll definitely refer to those types of places. I think that, there has to be a little work done on insurance providers and, paying their fair share of things, because there's a lot of hidden things that can make things difficult. And unfortunately, especially with a place that does it like ours, it is not a cheap cost to own and operate a treatment center. Between all our types of facilities that we have, the doctors, the therapists, all of those things, there is definitely a cost that goes into that. And our philosophy is, I don't want anybody to get left behind. I don't want anybody to go to treatment and fall through the cracks. So we are overstaffed. So, you are going to get care and you're going to get seen, and you're not going to be able to sit in the back of a room and hide out for a month or isolate in your bedroom. Like, that just does not happen. at our facility. And with that said, there is a cost, and I'm the worst person for business. I do TikTok lives, I do social media.
Right.
My CFO hates me because I'll get on live and somebody will give me a story, and then I'll jump in a chat with them and be like, hey man, like I'll take you on as a scholarship and we'll do this. And you know, my CFO is just like, wait, you can't keep doing this, dude. Like you just gotta stop doing this,
Right.
you know? And I'm like, no, it's our philosophy, you know, we'll find them help. And he's like, yeah, we'll find them help. It can't always be with us, you know? But I love this place, man. And I love helping people. And I love like reason I designed this is for someone like me, because I didn't make it my first shot. I had to go to treatment time and time and time again. And I was at places where I was just a number. And I was at places where, you know, at a time when I ended up homeless, I was going to state ran facilities that they do not give you the level of treatment you need to be successful. And yes, you can get sober anywhere, but like you want to be set up for the best chance at being successful. And if I truly think someone wants it and I can reach out a hand to give them an opportunity they may have never thought was possible, I try to do that anytime I can.
Definitely. Yeah, we see that a lot, you know, the nuances of the insurance and the billing, because we do billing at RCM, and there's a whole plethora of things that are, you know, that are shortcomings from the insurance industry, as well as, you know, hidden things that maybe patients or patients' families aren't aware of, including the things that are covered. So, you know, that's super important to address, as well as not being just a number, right? Being a number is something you do see a lot. Again, it comes back to how can you get treatment more than just 30 days, right? How can you get more, like the initial recovery, a lot of places can get you there, but then what? What's your step forward? What's your real plan? Because that detox or that 30-day program or even 90-day program, where are you going to go after that? Where's the landing zone, right? I think a lot of people fail to, you know, find that proper bridge like that, whether it's, you know, an IOP, whether it's, you know, sober living, whatever the case is, you know, once you get detoxed, where do you go and what's that long-term plans? Because just like yourself, a lot of people don't make it on their first shot. They go in and they come back. I mean, and unfortunately, the way you have to say it is you become a repeat customer, which is not the way it was not the way it should be. But for a lot of facilities, it becomes that way, and a lot of them operate off that mindset sometimes, you know? So it's really important to set you up right the first time to be successful the first time, so that you never come back or never have the need to come back. Let's put it that way.
That's what I say to everybody, man, is I'm just like, I personally feel failure if I see someone back in our doors, you know? It is something that I don't take that as like my fault necessarily, right? But like, I just am like, dang, is there something more we could have done for you? So you got this first time. And we're the type of people, we're trying to set people up to be successful alumni, not successful repeat customers. And I want to make sure people know, you know, our hand will always be there. If you fall, I want to be the first call. But at the same time, like, our entire goal is to get to work now, so you don't have to come back later. I would rather have you put all that extra work later on into being a productive family member, son, brother, mother, you know, sister, community, churchgoer, all of those types of things, than seeing you again in 6 months here.
Love it. So I guess I got a question out of this, but how do you feel your journey so far? What are you most proud of in your own journey, looking back?
I'm most proud of the way that I, as someone who didn't come from this field, as someone who, you know, I went from the lowest of lows of literally homeless, sticking a needle in my arm, hoping to die every single day, to building a lot of money up at a tech place, and also being in the exact space, just dead internally, that I was able to use going to meetings and being around sober people and in and out of treatment centers and meeting a ton of different resources and networks. I was able to build this company off the backs of just being super lucky of the people I met along the way. And by that, I mean, you know, I hand selected all of the people who worked for me at out of treatment centers that I went to, right? Like, this guy was the best therapist. This guy was the best BHT. You know, I loved this KISS manager. And, you know, they saw a buy-in of what we were building. And we do like a company profit share. So it's nothing where it's like all going to Wade, right? Like, everybody wins together. And that's always been my motto, is I want to see everybody around me succeed. but I've been able to hand select what I say, and everybody's going to rant and rave about their staff, but the best staff around me, and people even at other treatment centers who have just respected what I've been all about, have helped me so much along the way. And it's something that, like, I truly feel every day I've been blessed by God and just the luckiest guy who's stumbled my way into all these situations. But at the end of the day, when you see a lot of people get behind your cause, you know you're doing something right in the right direction.
Awesome. No, I love that. Yeah, the people who you're around says a lot about you. And, if you feel like you have the best team and you believe in your team the way you do, that you've hand selected, it's going to help your clients, and it's going to help them tremendously, right? Because they're going to come in and be around the best of the best, right? You're not just, it's not just like you're looking for anybody on the internet or, anybody that can just come fill a slot. Because whenever you hire like that, you end up essentially getting treatment like that for your residents. So your success rate with your staff will say a lot about your success rate with your clients. So Wade, man, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me. If people wanted to get in touch with you, see what you're doing at Plugged In Recovery and all the great stuff, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
So you can definitely go to our website, pluggedinrecovery.com. We are very active on social media. So TikTok, Plugged In Recovery, Instagram, Plugged In Recovery, Facebook, Plugged In Recovery. You'll see tons of videos of me. You'll see tons of videos of all my staff. You'll see past clients. You'll see testimonials. We really are transparent and put it all out there because we want you to get to know what recovery can look like, and it can be the greatest thing you do every single day.
Perfect. Love it. Well, appreciate you taking the time to talk with me, and I look forward to seeing the journey that you continue on with Plugged In Recovery, as well as seeing the change you're creating in the world, Wade.
Hey, brother, thank you so much for having me. And again, thank you for everything that you're doing of finding ethical treatment, ethical providers, and linking those things up. I truly want to commend you for that as well.